I make my best effort to get War Machine to the end of this level intact, but in spite of my struggle, he will get his ass kicked by the boss, as anyone would. So War Machine's special attacks are rocket he fires from his shoulder cannon, and an uppercut, which I believe you just saw a moment ago. The shoulder cannon is a fairly standard projectile. It's decent, but against other enemies with projectiles, there's no real time to use it. The other enemies will either shoot you first or shoot you at the same time. War Machine's ultimate is incredibly underwhelming. It deals as much damage as any other ultimate, but it's spread out so far that there's no guarantee it will actually hit the enemies, which is disappointing. You figure that War Machine's missiles would lock onto the enemies or something like that. It's true that it covers a potentially wider area than many of the other ultimates, but I prefer accuracy over that. It's a real shame there aren't too many benefits to using War Machine late in the game. There are so many enemies with projectiles, and there are so many enemies in general, that it's really hard to find a time to use his shoulder cannon appropriately. His uppercut's pretty sweet, but it's not enough to justify using him. And his ultimate is no good. It's particularly disappointing for me, because War Machine was the first character I played as when I first downloaded this game. And I thought I could see him having some legs, you know? We've seen these enemies before, and if you remember, the idea is to stand anywhere but in front of them because of their ice beam laser, which will freeze you in place and allow them to deal further damage. We also want to stay relatively in the center of the screen because of those electric barriers that pop up every so often. Those are just as annoying and potentially harmful as the robots themselves. This game doesn't give you the luxury of retrying levels, by the way, so this would probably go a lot less well without that functionality. I've just replayed the game so many times that it's gotten a bit easier, though not that much. War Machine is no Hulk by any means, but he does come with a lot of health, and that's why he's still alive right now. A few soda cans will surely help a little, but they'll get punched right back out of us in no time. I am making an error here, by the way, that is reasonably easy to remedy. I should not be standing down here, I should be jumping up on the platform, because there is less room for the enemies to get me up there. And even if they do, yeah, there we go, and even if they do crowd me, I can either knock them back down, or jump back down myself. There's no reason to stay in the same place on this screen. It just makes everything worse. And I believe, after a new enemy walks on screen, I perform a fantastic maneuver. Here we go. Beautiful gameplay. I remember in video 2, I think, I talked about the shield enemies when they were introduced, and how to deal with them, and how they're a unique enemy type and all that. But they barely even register anymore as anything but punch sponges, because as you can see, they do take an excessive amount of hits sometimes. And being unable to use certain attacks on them just makes them a bit more frustrating. I understand the game is co-op, but making all the enemies take less hits in general I think would be perfectly fine. I am fucked. We are both fucked. Everybody's fucked all the time forever. The description calls Bowman the Hydra version of Hawkeye, but I've never seen Hawkeye pull this anime bullshit that Bowman pulls. I swear the dude has fucking spider sense. If you shoot a projectile at him, he will likely slide under it, no matter how close or far he is or how fast you fire it. If you try and jump kick him, he will backflip backwards away from your jump kick, like that. And he puts down that nice electricity arrow for you to land on. Running straight up to him and trying to attack him is no good because he moves around so damn much. And, you know, there's the fact that he can fire across the entire screen, too. At first I thought the safest time to attack him would be when he was doing an attack of his own. Getting the timing down for that is not only incredibly difficult, but I do believe he can actually slide out of some of his attacks, which he does a couple of times when I try to use a projectile move. Having War Machine's Missile Barrage ultimate to use is both a blessing and a curse. Do you ever stop firing those, dude? You fired 3 volleys in rapid succession. Is both a blessing and a curse because it does cover the whole screen pretty much. Maybe I should just stand still because he froze me, and he could barely hurt me while I was standing still for some reason. Can you hold still, man? Just hold still for a goddamn second. I cannot describe how utterly hopeless I felt during this fight, and it's kind of funny, honestly, how ridiculously powerful Bowman is. Like, we fought the Hydra version of Iron Man a bit ago, and sure, he was reasonably challenging, but he wasn't this. Jesus. Part of me feels like I should cry.